Get ready for an uplifting experience with Coached Soul. Join us as we bring you the dynamic duo of Steve Hudgens, a licensed professional counselor, and Kenya Evelyn, a transformational leadership coach. Together, they'll guide you through engaging episodes filled with valuable insights and actionable tips on mental health, relationships, self-care, emotional well-being, and personal growth. Coached Soul is your go-to podcast for empowering discussions that will help you thrive. So let's get started and welcome our hosts, Steve and Kenya.
Welcome back to Coached Soul. I mean, it is July is almost here, and it is here, and it's hot, 100-degree.
It is. I can't complain about the heat, though. I would rather be hot than be freezing.
Well, Kenya, there's so much you can take off to be cold. But when you're cold, there's so much layers you can put on and still get warm. So
My husband says the same thing. But my Brazilian blood, it's okay with the heat.
Right.
Yeah, just saying, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm so happy we're back, listeners.
Yes.
We are here celebrating freedoms, celebrating that there's this blooming in the air. There's totally different the spring. Do you feel the energetics? Like, you have the winter solstice just a few days ago, summer solstice.
Maybe in Brazil they were feeling the
it is
winter.
no maybe about it. It is winter in Brazil. So yes, thank you. I was just receiving this. I was connected to Brazil just for a minute.
You are. That's all right.
Oh my goodness. It is also the season of new beginnings. It always is an opportunity. And I love how God weaves these thoughts through the seasons.
Sure.
The reset. The reset is a daily reset, and it's also a season reset. And the invitation in this season is you're free. Are you seeing yourself as free? Are you in responsibility with your freedom? Are you actually feeling free, or you're tied up in the past? Are you being independent? How are you using your independence? I mean, there's so much we can talk about it. Carry on.
As a military veteran, I am proud to have served this country. It's as a military, some people just don't know the sacrifices we are making because it's 24/7. We have military injuries. Some have PTSD, some have TBIs, some, have the cancer from certain various parts of reasons unknown.
Wow.
It's a 24/7 job that is often thankless, and when you
I'm
think about
so grateful. I'm so grateful. I just want to interrupt you to say thank you for your services, and for any of the listeners, thank you so much. Freedom is not free. I get that. And I got that from the moment that I understood that for myself. And it was in my adult years and in homeschooling when we read about how many people really believed in a freedom, in a free country, in a freedom of thought, and a freedom of speech, and it cost their lives. So thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure, and that's what I did it for, is to serve this country, to serve people like you, to protect our freedoms. But with that price of protecting with freedom, we can only do so much for ourselves. So individual freedom is important. And what I mean by individual freedom is the fact that, I hear all the time, sometimes women will say, well, I'm independent. I don't need a man. I'm independent. I don't need you. And it becomes a turnoff from men because men want to be able to, we want to help. And when we're asked to help, we'll go help. But then it's like, well, you're not doing this right. You're not doing that right. And it's like, well, why am I doing this in the first place? So where I'm going with this independence is boundaries. How boundaries helps us to create a bubble. A bubble that I don't want to when I think about emotional boundaries, I don't mean that in a term of a wall. And I know we've discussed this before and your wheels are turning. But I'm looking at how do we help protect, since this is Independence Day, how do we protect our own freedom from being encroached upon by others?
I love this conversation. You know, I don't like the word boundaries at all. And I'm not triggered, but the wheels are turning. I
Yes.
had the thought of being triggered, like, there he goes again. And I love that about us because we get to have these great discussions as we have different perspectives.
Right.
And what I hear you saying is this: how do I receive the gift of free will and really stand in my own self, in my own sovereignty, in my own frequency, as I respect other people that are standing for themselves as well? And here's the thing, it doesn't start from the outside. Okay, if I am not standing in my own frequency, if I'm not being independent and being connected with God, if I'm not being, and by being independent, I don't mean I do it myself. This I do it myself is a trauma response. This I don't need you means I get to be in control so I don't suffer or I don't get hurt again. That's what it really means. Because nobody wants to be independent, isolated. I do the dishes, I do the laundry, I do the kids, I do this by myself. You don't know how. No, we are begging for help. I'm speaking on behalf of every woman. I'm just channeling all the energetic feminine frequency. We love help. And at the same time that we love the help and the support, I want to invite my women to stand up and say, are you acknowledging the help you have, or are you micromanage in a trauma response as in you're not doing it right, therefore you don't get any, and you withdraw to I'll do it myself because I'm the only one that knows how to do it right? That is generational. That is a generational frequency of self-abuse. That's not independence. That is a huge trauma response in your body, in your field, and you're generating isolation versus connection. The message you're sending out there is, fine, I won't do anything. He's checking out. He's checking out. And that actually goes vice versa. I
Right.
remember before I married my husband, I dated somebody that was narcissistic. I couldn't do anything right. Couldn't do anything right. It doesn't matter how I would do it. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. It squished my self-esteem. It squished my confidence. And this is not a conversation for this podcast, but I clearly didn't know who I was. And I didn't even understood my value or my worthiness or anything. I was taking crumbs for love. And I thought that that was love. And I didn't love myself and all the things. And it reflected on him. Now back to the independent conversation. How does it feel to create this weaving of interdependence, to create unity, harmony, fun, play, joy, experiment